Okay, so I am on now, unlisted. So let me get everybody else on here. And I'll send you the link. Post. Let's see, there's always something going on. Oops. Okay. So now we know what we need to do. Not schedule it. Just go live. Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Alrighty. Let's give people a minute here.
Okay, people are gonna start trickling in.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yay! Hello, everybody.
Do you have a drink?
I could use a refresh.
I'll get you a drink.
Well, you want to take my water cup?
I have a Coke if you want it.
No, water's fine.
No, I'm not gonna give you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Sure.
Oh, good grief. Hello, hello, hello. I hope you are doing well. Sorry for the technical difficulties yet again. We are learning through this process. I'm going to see if we have some more folks coming on. I know there's going to be at least 7 people to join us. So, yeah. So sorry for the delay. Having major issues with YouTube whenever we schedule a live stream to occur. There seems to be a problem with it going live. But if I just go live without scheduling it, then it seems to be okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Always the text. Exactly. The tech always works until you need it. That is so true. That is so, so true. We had everything set up. We were right on time. I had time to eat lunch. Everything was going well. We click start streaming and crickets. So next time I do this, I'm just gonna go live and call it a day because it is what it is. All right, so we've got some more folks coming in. If you joined us, make sure you say hello so I know that you're here. I know at least we've got 3 folks here. Somebody else has just joined us. We're going to give folks just a few more minutes to get the message that I sent out on the Facebook group and in the Patreon group as well with the new live stream link, and we should be good to go. Crazy town all the way. How is your weekend going, by the way? What are you working on? What are you doing this weekend? After this, I need to spend some time with my kiddo. We're going to do a Kiwi Crate little subscription box. The one that she gets is an art one. And then I thought about taking her to the mall, but that might be questionable. Alrighty, we're under severe thunderstorm warning. Oh my God. 85% humidity. Yep. If I suddenly disappear, I've lost power. I get it. Being in Texas, we experience the same thing. And that humidity is really high. So, yes. On a date with my air conditioner this weekend. Yeah, I feel ya. 112. My God, that is very hot. Does it normally get hot? And you said you were from New York, right, Kira? I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. 112 is hot. We've had here in Texas a very mild summer. It's starting to get warmer, like in the hundreds, but it's taken it forever to do. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started for the sake of time. Go ahead and pop on in. It does get hot, but we're under serious heat wave right now. Yeah, whew, man. 112, that's like Arizona temps right there. That's crazy. That's crazy. Total opposite in winter. Minus a gazillion, but it's with humidity. Wow. Crazy times. All right, ladies, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm so glad that you're here. This is the monthly live stream for July 2019. It is going to be recorded, so if you have to pop off somewhere and do other things and whatnot, then that's cool. And then you can come back and just see it another time. I thought it would be fun if, because I always get a question and people are always curious, whenever you are doing this as a career, people don't always see the behind the scenes of what actually goes into the creating of projects, whether it's for business or if it's for pleasure. And a lot of times, I'll be completely honest with you, the layouts don't always come together the way that I want them to, or it may take me a little bit longer if I don't have a clearer vision or things are just not working out. And so I go through the same struggles as everybody else. And so I thought it'd be fun to see me put together a couple of layouts and kind of walk you through my process as I'm making decisions for what it is that I put on a scrapbook page. Hey, Alyssa. I'm going to put some things away in my scrap room. Awesome. No problem. Let's see. Maura says, went to my mom's this morning, came home with an awesome photo album, a little mixed up, but lots of childhood photos. That's awesome. Alyssa, then I have a page I've been working on all week. I just don't like it. I need to figure it out how to fix it. Alyssa, if you need some help with that, definitely let me know if you need some help. Sometimes it helps getting like a second eye on a page. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to walk through the process. You're going to see me go through this process. I have a pocket page layout that I'm going to work on, and then I have a 12 by 12 that I'm going to work on. The 12 by 12 photos are of me and my best friend of over 25 years, and I saw her recently, and it was really good catching up with her, and I'll talk about that story here in just a few. And then also my 4th of July photos as well. I didn't take a ton of 4th of July photos. We spent it with my in-laws, but I wanted to scrapbook the story and pocket scrapbooking, so I'll talk to you about how I incorporate both pocket scrapbooking and regular scrapbooking in my albums. Alrighty, so I think, which one do you want me to start out with? You want me to start with the pocket or the 12 by 12 layout? Go ahead and put that in the comments. Which one do you want me to start out with? I can go either way. 12 by 12 or the pocket. Which one do you want me to start out with? And I have some new Felicity Jane goodies that I'm going to be playing with too. So very excited for that. Very, very, very excited. I love, love, love new stuff. So which one would you like me to start out with? My 12 by 12 or the 12 by 12 pocket page, which is actually a double page. 12 by 12, you think? Okay. Anybody else? I'll start with the 12 by 12. Put your votes in, and I'll get started on this. It doesn't take me very long to sort of put together an idea of what it is that I want to do. But sometimes it does take me a little while to kind of figure some stuff out, and I think that's okay. Alrighty, I'll start with the 12 by 12. How about that? So, for the 12 by 12, I have some items here from Felicity Jane. Now, this kit could not be more perfect for the photos that I'm going to scrapbook because it's all about my best friend Erin and I. And we recently saw each other over the 4th of July weekend. She lives in Oklahoma. We have been friends since junior high. In fact, let me show you the photo so you know who I'm talking about here. So these are some selfies that we took. We met at a restaurant in Lake Hefner, which is a beautiful lake. It has a cute little lighthouse and that type of thing, so really jazzing up the area. And there she is, my beautiful best friend. And we've been best friends for 25 years, ever since junior high, or a little bit before that. And this visit, although I totally was excited to see her, we caught up a little bit, and it was as if I kind of knew something was going on, because she's going through a lot of things. Her dad recently died. She has some other things that are going on in her life. And so it was really good for us to just sit and talk and catch up and to love on each other, and it's like we always pick up where we left off, even though we don't see each other often. We live maybe 3 or 4 hours away from each other. So I wanted to do this best friend spread. I don't think that I've ever scrapbooked about Erin and about our relationship at all, and how we sort of grew up and became women and married and had kids and that type of thing, but never really talked about this long-term relationship that I've had with her for all of these years. So this is what I'm going to scrapbook. So here's the tricky part. Well, not tricky. So I have 2 4 by 6 photos, and I have on the horizontal, that is. And I have 1 4 by 6 photo on the vertical. And sometimes when we're scrapbooking photos, we look at this and go, how am I going to work this out on a layout? I'm going to keep this super simple and stick to my intrinsic traditional style of scrapbooking. And I'm going to scrapbook all 3 of these on one 12 by 12 spread. So when I'm getting started with the layout, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on the story, and I'm going to focus on the photos. I already know what the story is going to be, and in fact, you won't see the journaling on this. I'm going to type it up. It's going to be a little bit robust journaling, and some of it's going to be a little bit private, so I'm not going to share that publicly, but I am going to talk about the fact that we've been friends for 25 years, where we're at now in our lives at age 38, and just some elements of our relationship that have just stayed strong over the years, even though we don't see each other all the time. So I'm thinking on my 12 by 12, I'm going to position the photos like this. And normally when I get started, I like to get an idea of how I want to position the photos. And sometimes that may change because you may not always be married to the initial idea. I also like to do a tiny little sketch as well. I keep a little post-it note, little sticky notes here on my desk, on my craft desk. And I like to just sketch out an idea. It doesn't mean that I'm going to stick to it, but I just like to sketch out an idea. Once I have an idea down of what I want to do, then comes the fun part of picking out all of the fun goodies. Now, I've never been a scrapbooker who will match product to my photos because I just can't be bothered with that. Although some people are, and occasionally every now and then I will match or coordinate product to my photos, depending on the photo and depending on what it is that I'm trying to accomplish with the layout. So I'm going to move these to the side. I'm going to show you what I'm working with here. So I have a new kit. And if you've been following me on YouTube, watching my videos recently, I've been really, and also in the Patreon group, trying to use up my stash. So I have this new kit here, and it's been sitting on my floor since I got it. This is the Denise kit from Felicity Jane. And I was going to use something else, but this kit is perfect because it's themed with the idea of scrapbooking things about sisters or best friends or that type of thing. It says daughter, or some of the sentiments on here say mini-me, daughter, best friend, girl talk, you and me, BFF, sisters, better together. And I thought this would be perfect on a layout about my best friend. So no brain work went into this, but within the kit, I need to decide what it is that I want to use. So the first thing I do, or the next thing I do after I print the photos and kind of get an idea of what my layout design is going to be, I'm going to look at my papers first. So I'm going to start with the base first. Then the base will help inform everything else. And you'll get to see all the rest of these goodies that are in this kit here in just a second. So I'm going to set all that to the side. So here's the Felicity Jane kit. This is called Denise. I think this was the July kit, I believe. Kira says, my best friend and I are going to be celebrating 15 years of friendship in the fall. We've been considering doing cheesy photo shoot to commemorate it. You absolutely should. That's so much fun. That's so much fun. Hey, if you're joining us, make sure you say hello. I want to know that you're able to hear and see what's going on and how you're doing, and tell me what you are up to this weekend if you haven't done so already. Alrighty, so here are the beautiful pattern papers that come in this kit. And so what I do is I basically just go through the papers. Now, if I'm going through my stash and I'm selecting paper, I usually have a stack about this thick or so, and I just kind of thumb through. And I don't make, I try not to hee-haw about it for too long, technical term. I just want to make quick, fast decisions so that I can start scrapbooking. So I know that I love this heart pattern paper, so I'm going to set it to the side. I like this text pattern paper because it has a lot of phrases on here that I would typically use associated with talking about somebody that I love or somebody who I'm a friend with. So best friend, sister, BFF is repeated across this. Now, I love it, but it's a little bit busy for what I want. So I'm going to move that to the side and use it for another project. Now, these are double-sided papers. I don't normally like pink unless I am scrapbooking my daughter, so I'm not going to use this side. Here's a grid, which I have a plan for this, but I'm not going to use it on this layout. Also, I like double-sided papers or pattern papers that have a decorative branding strip because then I can use that as a decorative element. I really love a stripe, and I'm super in love with this, but this might not go on this particular layout. I also like this pattern because it's a neutral, and I think it'll work well. So I'm going to set this to the side too. And then when I was looking at the kit, I immediately fell in love with this pattern paper. So this is a nice little gingham. It's called Plaids and Lines. So there's lines on the back of it, plaids here on the front. Not wild about this pattern. And then the other side is just your regular sort of larger grid that might be used for something else down the road. And then included in the kit are solid cardstock, double-sided. So you get the deeper color on one side and then a lighter color on the other side. So once I've decided which papers I want, I'm going to go ahead and start setting up the background. Now, if I'm filming for, say, a YouTube video or Patreon video, then I'll go ahead and start moving around embellishments on the page and kind of getting an idea of what I want. But if I'm just sitting here doing this on my own, I want to get the background set up first because that's my starting point for what I want to do. Alrighty, so I am going to, let's see here, click to make sure that I can see the screen myself. Alright, here we go. Okay, so what I want to do is get my cutter. That's always a good thing, right? When you have paper, you want to get your paper cutter. And I'm going to decide which two of these pattern papers I want to use for my background. Now, if you're typing or asking me a question of any kind, the chat tool is delayed, so I might not see it right away. So I will definitely go through and make sure that I see any and all comments as they are caught up. So just bear with me. The YouTube live stream kind of runs the chat section a little bit slow. Okay, let's see here. And that. Okay. Here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off the branding strip off of one of these. Well, actually off of all of them. There we are. My trusty cutter that I've had for years. And I'm going to go ahead and cut the branding strip off of this. I'm not sure if I'm going to use the hearts or not, but we'll see how it plays out. We shall see. All right. What I want to do, what I envisioned was to have this 12 by 12 gingham design. It's really pretty. And then taking a neutral and cutting a band to where it covers maybe a little less than half of the page. And my idea is I'm going to position my photos over here. I'm going to have a title over here, and I want the title to be able to pop. So I think I'm going to cut this down to roughly, let's see, maybe 5 inches, 5.5 inches, maybe 5. There we go. Not too bad. So then I have this bottom portion here. So I'm going to go ahead and get my adhesive and get that adhered on. There we go. And I could do all kinds of fancy things with this. I could de-stress it, I could stitch, I could do all kinds of stuff. I'm going to keep it simple. The next thing I want to do is I want to grab some white cardstock. I keep a little pack of scratch, or not scratch, but cut-offs from pattern paper that I use. I'm trying to get that word out. And I just keep it in a little plastic baggie by my desk. That way I know that I'm using up my supplies as much as possible, using up the stashy stash. Hello, hello! Hey, Steph! So sorry about that. We had some technical problems, so I'm so glad that you're here. So glad that you're here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and mount my photos with some white, and that's typically something that I always do with my photos. Now, I could definitely print them that way, but my printer settings, I usually use my Canon Selphy to print. It doesn't print a true 4x6, which annoys me about that particular printer. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get this all trimmed up. I like a nice white border. If I order my photos, like say from Persnickety Prints, then I will get the white borders. So I just like the way that that looks. Alright, so that's good. I'm going to get the other two situated. If you have any questions about my process, feel free to ask. Again, the chat is delayed for me, so I won't see it right away, but once I see it, I will definitely answer your questions for you. Okay, so now I'm going to get this one. I love watching how people work through and design their scrapbook pages. It's like one of my favorite things. That slowed down. Let me show you my behind the scenes process. All right, this one is probably gonna, yep, that's too small, so we'll save those pieces for another day. And my last photo. So I'm getting 3 4x6 photos on a 12x12 spread. I do like matting with white cardstock, but not printing. Yeah, white border. I know, right? Yeah. And sometimes the border doesn't always come out all that great either when you print the white border from home. I don't know. I'm going to invest in a new photo printer probably next year, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes, because I really, really like white borders. And I like my photos to be true to print 4x6, too. That annoys me when they're not. All right, last photo. to be mounted on white cardstock. Okay, awesome. Now, with my 3 4x6 photos, I get questions a lot about scrapbooking 4x6 photos. We see so many folks doing 12x12 layouts that only use 1 photo or 2 photos, and sometimes people resize their photos. I'm definitely in that camp as well. But sometimes it's just great to see a layout where it's just the 4x6 photos, and working with 4x6 photos that are on different orientations. All right, so now what I want to do is figure out the positioning. Now, I could leave it like this. So at this point, once I have my background, my initial background situated, I'm now going to decide placement of the photos. So I can leave the photos as they are in this nice linear design. I can layer the photos as well. And that gives me just a little bit more room and a little bit more interest. And I think that's what I'll do. I'm actually going to end up popping this one up because I want that to be emphasized a little bit more on the page. And then once I have my photos laid out, then I know that I'm ready to start embellishing. And I have a few areas where I can embellish. Now, I usually like to layer my multi-photos on a spread, specifically if I'm just doing a one-page spread, because it gives me a little bit more room to play around with some elements on the page. So that is what I'm going to do. So these 2 photos here, I'm going to go ahead and get those adhered down the way that I need them. And I don't mind overlapping photos just as long as I can see the people in my photos. Okay, that's just going to have to stay. It's stuck. It's going to have to stay. Alrighty, this one, let's pop that up on some fun foam. I'm going to grab a little fun foam sheet. I think I talked about this in the last live stream. I buy the inexpensive fun foam from Michaels. And then I have a scrapbook.com double-sided adhesive that I absolutely love. And I'll put adhesive on one side. You can actually put adhesive on both sides of it. And so that way it's ready and I already have it trimmed down approximately to the size of a 4x6, sometimes a little bit smaller than that. So I'm going to trim this just slightly. And that's going to go right there. Trim just a tiny bit more. There we go. This is going to go like that, like so. Now, I could have put more double-sided adhesive there. I'm going to pull over my Scotch Advanced Tape Runner, something I picked up recently at Michaels. I like it better than the regular ATG because I can't ever remember how to fill it. Then, let's go ahead and put our photo here. And I think that looks really good. My friend and I haven't taken photos together in a very, very long time, so I'm glad that I have these photos here. Typically, at this point in the process, I do one of 2 things. Either I'm going to start embellishing or I'm going to put the title down. And if I'm smart, I'm going to work on the title first because I love to embellish. I love to layer. You know, if you've been with me for a while, you know that's my thing. That's my jam. And sometimes I get a little carried away with the embellishing that I forget that I actually need to have a title on my page. So that's the next step. So let's look at some options here. So all Felicity Jane kits come with a stamp set. Of course, you know, I love doing a combination of using both stamps as well as letters. They come with letters as well in these kits. Sometimes I'll dig through my stash to see if there's anything else that I want to use. And I think what I want to do is I want to stamp. And so I got to figure out what the title is going to say and where it's going to go. So I'm thinking that I kind of like the idea of putting the title here and then putting journaling strips that'll go right here. Not sure what the title is going to read yet. I thought I had that worked out. I think I want to use the stamp that says best friend and put that here. And then put maybe for 24 or 25 years or something like that. I want to speak to the fact that we've been friends for so long. Another option I can consider is splitting the title. So maybe doing the stamping along here and then using the puppy letters here. Let's see. There's also this you and me stamp that I could probably do something cute with as I'm looking around at my pattern papers. And there's the better together, you get me. I mean, there's just so many options here. So, all right, let's just start playing and figure it out, right? Figure it out. We may not always have the answers, but we're going to figure it out. So I'm going to take this best friend stamp. I'm going to put it right here. Or maybe I put best friend here. And then take the letter stamp. I'm going to cut this on the side. This is a little tricky trick that I learned from somebody on YouTube. I forgot their name. But to cut your packages on the side, it makes it easier to get your letters out. I mean, mind blown when I learned that little trick. All right, so I'm going to get the letter situated. Meanwhile, if you've joined us, make sure you say hello so I know that you're here. And tell us what you're working on this weekend. I think I want to spell out, let me see, 20, let's see if that'll work. I'm like really committing to this and I'm not even sure that's what I want, if this is what I want to do. It happens. Sometimes you just have to dive right on in and see what comes of it. 20. So in the last live stream, I talked about finding a platform so that we can all actually see each other and talk in real time. And we're still working on that. I thought I would be able to do that through Zoom, but the camera setup is kind of funky, and so you wouldn't be able to see it. Hey, Amanda, how are you? And, okay. Let's see. What I'm trying to decide is, because I don't want the title to read Best Friend 25, because that doesn't make sense. I could go ahead and bring it down and say, I want to do, I'm trying to like do a play on something. Like maybe put 25 with the number 5, but I don't think I like that. Who knows? 25. Let's just keep going with it. Don't want to overthink it. 25, 25, 25. Okay. Let's try something else. Let's take the stamp part out of it. Sometimes the titles come together, sometimes they don't. And this is a situation where I'm struggling just a tiny bit for it to come together. And that's okay. That's a part of the process, right? Zakira says, I'm playing with my new toy, We Are Memory Keepers pocket punch board. Might work on a traveler's notebook later on after I've made some more pockets. That is really cool. Make sure you share that with us in the Patreon Facebook page. Speaking of, you guys know that you can, in our Patreon Facebook group, the Patreon Facebook group, you can share photos of your projects and that type of thing. And the reason why we started the Facebook group is because Patreon is not a platform that's set up for sharing. And so it makes it hard to like post stuff and that type of thing. So like photos and that type of thing. So I set up a Facebook group for us so that we can share. So if you're creating something or whatnot, please make sure that you share it. I'm so tempted to buy punch boards, but I don't know if I'd actually use them. I think the only one that I bought so far is the tab one from We Are Memory Keepers. It seems like they just come out with like a ton of stuff. It's hard to keep up with all their new things that they come out with. Okay, so, I think I almost have it with this title, guys. And if I'm really stuck, then I just keep the title, the initial one, where it's at, and then of course I can always change it later. Here we go. And of course I don't have an eye for straight, so these are probably super wonky. I have a tool for this, of which I don't use. Let's see, I only have this one and the envelope one. The envelope one I use very often. I think the pocket will get homage. That is pretty cool. Just organizing your scrap supplies. Awesome, Amanda. I need to do that. I'm at a point now where I'm ready to redo my new scrapbook room since I moved in. I've been in it for like 7 months. Now I'm ready to like really do something to it. Okay. Then I think the last thing I'm going to do is spell out years. Because why not? 25 years. And I think there's supposed to be a hyphen between 20 and 25. I'll correct that here in a few. Let's get this down. A, and an R, and an S. I love these colors. It just plays so well off the photos. Okay, and I want to use this in some way, this stamp. I like the stamp that says the bestie. I thought about maybe putting that right here as a subtitle. And then I'd still have room. But then it kind of like works up here too. Okay, so let me try something. So there is a banner stamp with a stamp set. So I'm going to actually play around with something. Now you guys are seeing all the good stuff. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to take the banner stamp and this stamp here. Let me find a block and some ink. Here we go. Cooking with fire, folks. Cooking with fire. Ever get stuck on a title? I know we've all been there. Sometimes I have a good title in my head, and then when I actually go to do the layout, it doesn't come out well. Or not the way that I want it to. Let me grab another block. There we go. By the way, wanted to announce, and I'll definitely announce this in the group, we're going to have a quarterly live stream for the entire Patreon community on August 31st, and we're going to have a special guest speaker, so I will announce all of that pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to talk about photo organization, which none of us are interested in, I'm sure. Please, a lot of us are interested in photo organization, right? All right, so here we go. Here's that little stamp with the banner. Work is done for me. All I have to do is just cut this out. I'm going to see if I can make this a part of the title. Sometimes the design solutions don't come up until you start playing, and I think that's the whole point of this, right? Is you want to play and you want to experiment and try new stuff. You always have your default, right? We all do. For me, I always fall back to layering and more simple designs when I'm working on something that is new or is stretching me a little bit. And if it's not working, I refuse to get stressed out about it, and I move on. Alyssa says, I get stuck on titles all the time. It's so hard. And I hate saying the same things over and over and over again, right? In titles. I want my titles to be unique. I know there's some tools online that help with titles and title building. Speaking of title building, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but LA Studio has a really fun title builder stamp set. I'm getting ready to review that here on the Victoria Marie YouTube channel, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But it makes it easy for you to build out your title, so that's always cool. Okay, so now I have this die cut that I made that says the bestie, and I'm happy with the way that that looks. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere that on. I'm pretty sure 25 is hyphenated, but, you know, we're just going to go with it right now. I'll fix it later. Uh-oh. Is that straight? I tell you what, when you start sticking it on a photo, all bets are off. Okay, there we go. I like that. I've seen the stamp. Can't wait to see what you think. Oh, it's fantastic. Alyssa says, I'm convinced that I use a different part of my brain for titles and journaling than I do from creating. It's hard to make the shift. Because then you have to really, it's like, I guess it is kind of a shift when you're going from putting down a whole bunch of pretty embellishments to actually sitting down and having to write something. I guess that would be somewhat of a shift for sure. I've seen the stamp, can't wait to see it. It's a fantastic stamp. This is the second set that they've sent me. They sent me the first round of it a few months ago, or probably it's been more than a month. It's been like a year or so ago. And it's such a fantastic stamp, so I was so excited when they brought it back. Got those stamps as well, Amanda. They're fantastic. Alrighty, so I've got the background done. I have my photos positioned. I have my title. Now it's time to layer and have some fun. So I'm going to see what my die cut choices are here. In this kit are some chipboard pieces, and they're really super thick chipboard pieces, which I love. I start laying out all of my embellishments to see what kind of comes to me. Oh, please tell us whether we need both. You don't need both stamp sets, but do we need any of the stuff that we buy? I'm such an enabler. Yes, you do need both stamp sets to be happy in life. If the first one's available, I say yes, because it's great, and they have different text between both the initial one and the new one. But you can definitely start out with either one. It doesn't matter, but they're both good. I would probably recommend buying one and see how you like it, and then if you really like it, then buy the second one. All right, so now I want to look at some of my die cut options. Oh, they have the word friend there. That would have been cute. Lots of labels, which is fun, typical of a Felicity Jane kit. Lots of florals. Got some tags, which we all know I love tags, so there might be some tag situation, some tag action going on here. I kind of like that idea. That's kind of a cool idea. Or do something over here. I kind of like this better. So as I'm laying out the embellishments, I like to move things around. I like to play, but not to inertia. I want to go ahead and just make some decisions and get the layout done. So I often fall back to either L design or a 1/3 or 2/3. Yeah, me too. Me too, Maura. Okay. So I'm looking through to see what's going to work. I want to definitely use some florals. I'm going to bring in another color here, which is this pink color. And I'm just laying stuff out. You know, you don't know if you're going to like it until you actually start playing with it. And typically when I'm building out clusters, and I've talked about this a lot, I'm going to start with an anchor. So the anchor for this cluster here is the tag. And then now that I have an anchor, I can start building up. The anchor here is this large floral piece. And so now I can start building something around that. Typically, I'm going to start layering in some smaller pieces here and there. Should you have 3 embellishment clusters? Yeah, sure. Why not? Rule of 3s, that's fine. But no one's going to sue you over it. So don't worry if you just have, 2 clusters or 1 large cluster. Now I'm going to come in and I'm looking at some elements and I'm just kind of tucking to see what looks good. I have these chipboard pieces here, which are really nice, and I'm not quite sure how I'm going to use that just yet. I need some space here for a little bit of journaling, and I'm going to do some more journaling elsewhere for this layout. I thought one of these callouts would be really fun to use in some way. I like the blue one. The white one is nice and doesn't take up too much space, and I can stamp on that if I wanted to. There is this one here, little heart. So I think I'll stick with that. Even though the little call out thing is going that way, I kind of like the way that that looks. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and commit. Why not? Let's add some adhesive to this. Why not? Love those florals. Do love the way you overlap your photos. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. The florals are pretty. It's one of the I think Felicity Jane is one of the few kits where I use the florals because I just think they're gorgeous. And they're a thick die cut. They're fantastic. Alrighty. So I'm going to come in and layer this over here. Just tucking. However it looks is how it looks. I'm going to come and get this tag. Stick that here. Again, an anchor. I'm going to grab this flower and do it like that. And this here is going to go like this. And before I commit to this, because of course I'm going to adhere it right on the photo, I'm going to hold off. I'm just going to keep it right here for now, just in case I change my mind. Okay, now there are these little puffy ones here, and I want to use these in some way, but I'm not quite sure yet. So let me have a look, see. Let me go ahead and cut that on the side. See what we're working with here. Now, as I'm working with this, tell me what are some of your favorite manufacturers that you like to, or what products that you enjoy, kits or different product lines. Tell me what it is that you like. I'm currently kind of feeling a little bit uninspired by what's on the market. I posted about this on the Victoria Marie Facebook group. It seems like everything that comes out lately from major manufacturers has a lot of pinks and blues and, you know, that type of thing, which is fine. It's lovely. I love those colors. They're wonderful. But I'm looking for something different. So tell me what it is that you're currently enjoying. What lines are you currently enjoying? And while we're doing that, I think, let's see here. I have this little label here that says happy. Again, I want to be careful where I put stuff, because once it's down, it's down. I like that little bit of yellowy, orangey color there. It's really nice. And some of these embellishments are really teeny tiny. I like the idea of having this little butterfly sticker here. I love puppies. And sticking that here just for a little bit of dimension, something different. And let's see here. I need something to come here, so I'm going to look at the die cut situation. Maybe let's see here. There is this one, and I thought about using one of these little label words. That one says forgiving, courageous, beautiful, determined, kind, happy, funny, and just layering that like right here. This is going to be a very, very calming and soothing layout. Not a whole lot is going to happen on this layout, which is why I love Felicity Jane kits, because there's something about a simple and clean design that just really speaks to me. Kira says, I'm a huge fan of pink. So it's Little Frustrating Collections will have gorgeous designs, but so much pink. Or not a fan of pink. So much pink. We need variation color schemes. I agree. Pink Paisley's Indigo, yes, and Ivy are lovely. May have ordered Vicky Bouton's new collection, Wildflower and Honey. It's so bold and fun. I love Vicky's collection, and I love the Pink Fresh Studio, their Indigo Hills. Have 3 boys, so I need more colors besides pink in my life. Ellie's Studio, absolutely. Ellie uses a lot of primary colors in her collection. So, yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. Thinking about moving that down here. Okay. Let's see here. Kind of thinking through some of my earlier decisions. Thought about putting this little call out here. And this label. Right here. It's hard when you either don't like pink or the subject that you're scrapbooking. For a lot of folks, they don't necessarily like to use feminine colors for masculine layouts, which, you know, I can understand. I don't really, I scrapbook whatever colors I like. But some people definitely have strong preferences either way. And when the products don't necessarily speak to that, then it can be a little bit frustrating. But, you know, wish LE Studio offered more than the Pocket Page kit. Yeah, they used to do 12 by 12 papers. I'm not quite sure why they don't anymore. So I love their 12 by 12 papers for sure. But you can still make awesome layouts with the products. I know the 6 by 6 paper pads definitely can be used on a 12 by 12 spread or an 8.5 by 11. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and commit to this label that says beautiful, and I went ahead and layered that on just a gridded label. And then I'm going to go ahead and commit to this little chipboard piece here, because why not? And it's going to go on the photo, so there we go. There we go. And I need to pull out some foam dots. Just trying to remember that word. Foam dots. I have this little iris case that I keep all of my cutoffs from my foam pieces in, so I don't lose them. So I'm going to grab a little piece here. And because this photo is on foam, I need to make sure that this embellishment stands up to the height of that foam as well. So I'm just going to pop that right behind there. Then I have this little flower, which I want to pop the flower up as well. So I'm going to grab another little foam square. There we go. And I'm going to stick her right here. And I'm still fussing with this leaf. There we go. Alrighty, so I've got my two main clusters going in a diagonal here, trying to decide if there's anything else that I want to put on the layout. I feel that I need a label over here somewhere. Let's see. Just playing around, trying to see what works. I'm going to take this little butterfly off for just a second and stick him back here. I still own plenty of their products. Jen, I do too. What I buy and what they send me from time to time to do projects with. I love it, love it, love it. I kind of like the idea of having a little label here and then layering a flower here. Ooh, and there's a little bow too. That might be going to inertia. Okay. Okay. So where'd that flower go? Here it is. I'm gonna take a little small little foam dot here. Two of them. And put that here. So there's a little bit of height in that cluster. And then I think I'm going to put the label here that says happy. Since there's a label here and then I made one here, I thought maybe that I'd do the same there. And sometimes when I'm doing layouts, I look for opportunities to be repetitive because that helps with cohesive design for sure. Okay. Okay. Okay, okay. Now, I want to add a little something else to this. It's looking very clean, very simple. I'm going to have some journaling right down here and some extra journaling on a separate page. Got lots of texture here with the chipboard and whatnot. I think I want to come in and add another little pink something over here. Maybe. Let's see. Maybe over here. maybe over here. I like this. It's a little tiny, I don't know if you can see it. It's a little tiny puffy shape with a little heart inside. And then here's a teeny tiny heart. And then here's another one. I think I might put that one here. Nobody else is going to notice this except for me. All these embellishments. Then I have another little teeny tiny one right here. There we go. No one else is going to notice. It doesn't matter. I love it, so there's that. Okay. Let's see. Plenty of FJ2. I do think you're an enabler. I am an enabler. I will admit it. I will admit it. When people ask me, should I buy this? I'm like, yeah, girl. Buy it all. Why not? I'm not fun to... Well, I am fun to go shop with, but I will definitely spend all your money. For sure. I'll tell you to buy everything. I'm thinking I should put just a tiny little something over here, like a little flower, since I have this little floral situation going on. Somewhat asymmetrical in the fact that this whole piece here has larger cluster. This one here is going to be smaller. I'm going to bring this tiny little heart. These are the things that you lose, like they get stuck on your finger or in your hair or something like that. So those are the things that we tend to lose. I think I want to put that there or maybe here. Maybe I'll put it here. Teeny tiny little heart. Okay, I was going to type the journaling, but I don't have time for that. And I actually don't hate my handwriting, so anytime that I have a chance to handwrite my journaling, then I'm going to do that. Okay, let's see here. So, there is another embellishment that I really want to use, but it usually leaves me stuck because I don't know how to use them. Well, I do know how to use them. I just have to figure it out. So it's these cute little charms. They're really adorable. I think they do have adhesive on it, so that makes it a little bit easier to use. But I see often people dangling these from something like maybe a mini album or something like that. And I think, I don't know, I really want to use this in some way. It has foam adhesive on the back, so that's cool. So maybe I'll tuck one over here. Whoops. Let's see if that'll work. Love that little checked one. Maybe that won't work. Trying to figure out where I'd put it. See, that's the problem. I don't know where I want to put it. Or it might just be overkill at this point. So they have this little hoop here, and you can string through, and you can dangle it from something or whatever. And I'm not sure how I want to use it. They are very cute charms, aren't they? They're super cute. Let me just go with it. Let me not overthink it. I don't know if this is actually working out for me or not, but I'm just gonna put them where I think they would look somewhat cute. I don't know. We'll leave it there. We'll see how we feel about it. All right? No big deal. Okay, so the last thing I want to do, now that the background's done, I got my photo situated, I've got beautiful clusters that I used using that kit. I do want to create a tab because we all know how I love tabs. And I have my trusty little tab punch here that's showing a little bit of wear and tear. It's starting to stick whenever I use it, so I have to take my scissors and pop it down. I probably need to use something to prevent it from sticking. I just don't know what yet. Maybe some WD-40? I think that would work. I don't know. Alrighty, so let's get some pattern paper. Now, instead of just punching into an entire sheet of pattern paper, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this branding strip here. This comes with the paper pack. And these patterns are tiny, and I can use them because why not? I want to use this stripe one here, and I'm going to create a tab where I can house the date. And I'm going to have to look up the date because I don't remember the specific date of when we went. It was either before or after 4th of July, and I don't remember. So I'm going to go through and punch me out a little tab. And I'm going to stick that somewhere on the layout because, you know, what's a layout without a tab, right? There we go. So there we go. Utilizing every little bit that I possibly can in my kits, because why not? I think I'm going to stick this label or the tab right there. I thought about putting it right over here. Somehow I like that a little bit better than putting it right here at the top. Maybe I'll put it here. No, I don't like that. I'm going to stick with what my plan initially is. I'll just put it right here. Now I have a place that I can stamp the date once I figure that out. Okay. Lastly, if I typed up my journaling, then I would go ahead and put the journaling on here, typically journaling strips or journaling block, depending on how I feel about it. I've really been loving just handwriting on my layouts lately, so I'm going to grab a ruler, and I bought brand new, let me see where my other one is at. Oh, here it is. I bought brand new Micron pens. These are my favorite pens of all time for scrapbooking. And I bought it to work with a bullet journal that I was recently sent for a review. And what I do to keep them separate from the other pens that are not as good is I put washi tape on them so I know that these are the pens that I use on a regular basis. So I have a .08, a .005, and a .02. I think I'm going to use my .02 to draw the lines on my layout. And I just want the lines to go right underneath. And then I have other journaling that I'm going to do too. Maybe I'll use the .08. Let's test it out. So this one is the 08. This one is the 02. I think for the journaling lines, and because of the pattern on the page, I'm going to go ahead and use the 08 to draw the lines. Okay, I'm going to try to get these as straight as possible. Of course, you can do this with a pencil. You don't have to be a rebel like me and commit to pen and then mess up and everything else in between. I usually like to do an odd number of lines. That's just me. You do however many lines you want. And I'm going to actually journal off camera on this one because journaling's a little private, but at least I know where the journaling's going to go. I think I'm going to do a couple more. I'm going to have a lot to say, I know for sure, on this layout. Okay. Journaling lines intact. I kind of feel like I want to do some more stamping on this. Maybe I'll put the date someplace else. I like the stamp that says sisters because my friend and I are truly like sisters for sure. That one's a little bit too long. Let's see. Well, I may not have a stamp that's short enough to go in that spot. Give me. Nope. Nope. Well, that may not work. I may have to go ahead and just commit to that being there. Because I just don't want to stamp arbitrarily on the layout and it not look good. Let me audition the sister stamp one more time. So I think when I stamp it, it's gonna be off the tab. I don't know. If it is, then I can just do it over. Victoria is such a rebel. Okay, here we go. Ink. Stamp it up. Now, I love Felicity Jane stamps because they're very high quality photopolymer stamps, and they stamp so well. And they receive ink very nicely. Okay, here we go, folks. Let's just do it. Do it, do it. I might have to stand up for this one. Oh, goodness. Sorry if my hair is in the way. That'll work. Why not? That'll work. Okay. So I think we're going to call this layout good. So that's my full process, 12 by 12 layout featuring 3 4x6 photos, 2 on the horizontal, 1 on the vertical. Got my coordinating pattern paper, created some layered clusters. I have some texture with the different elements, the die cuts, the charms, and the chipboard pieces. Created a little tab here, did a bit of stamping, and I'll stamp the date someplace else. Also use the puffy font stickers that came with the kit to spell out my title. So it reads The Bestie, 25 years. And then I have lines here for journaling that I will add in later. So there is that page all done, ready to go, start to finish. It's just lovely, Victoria. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was a nice little warm-up. Usually my first layout of the day, and this is my first project of the day, is not always my best project. So I think it turned out just fine. I do have some other photos from that evening that I'm going to scrapbook that are going to go along with this page, but this was the one that I really wanted to focus on because I do have a lot to say about my friendship with my best friend and that type of thing. By the way, if you need to skip out, this will be recorded, and I will make sure to include pictures of the 2 layouts that I complete for this live stream. So, alrighty. Hope you guys like that one. We're going to move on to the second one, which is a pocket page. Does anybody do any type of pocket page layouts of any kind? It's great. Thank you so much, Jen. If you do pocket scrapbooking, whether it is Project Life or you just include pocket scrapbooking in your layouts, love your editorial design. Thank you so much. If you use or create pocket layouts, let me know. I don't do Project Life per se. I tried, but thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Kira. But I like to include pocket pages in my albums because I think it adds a little bit of variability to the album. So for instance, not only do I have 12 by 12s in my albums, I have 8.5 by 11. I have pocket pages and everything else in between. And I know that someone in the group requested that I do an album flip through, and I'll definitely do that for our Patreon group for sure. I'll give you guys an extensive look at my albums. Mostly pocket scrapbook or do smaller layouts. I mean, okay, cool. I like doing pocket pages for 2 reasons. One, it allows me to use or to scrapbook a lot of photos. So this next page is photo heavy. Also, 2, sometimes I don't feel like doing a 12 by 12 layout. And 12 by 12s are my heart. Like, that's kind of where I default for scrapbooking. And 8.5 by 11. I love both of those formats. But sometimes I don't feel like doing that. So a pocket page is perfect for that. And I don't feel like I have to come up with this huge, large design versus a 12 by 12. Also, it speaks to a more simplistic style for me. I kind of vary. I kind of go back and forth. Sometimes I like a very layered, very embellished layout. I'm leaning more towards clean and simple design these days, but it kind of ebbs and flows a little bit for me. Now, for those who do pocket layouts, do you include them in their own separate album, or do you include them in your regular scrapbook albums? And while you're thinking about that, I am going to put up some of these materials and get ready for the second layout. I'm really interested in doing a 6 by 8 album that's not December Daily, and really playing with that style, but I'm not quite sure, like maybe for like vacation photos or something like that, like do a vacation album in a 6 by 8 pocket style scrapbook. We'll see if that ever materializes. All right, If you're like me, you got to clean your space first before you move on to the next thing. Kira says, someday I'll start working on a travel albums. I plan to do a mix of pocket pages and regular 12x12s with them. I think that's smart. Very, very smart. I do the same thing. Okay. I think there's so many options now with scrapbooking and so much freedom for us to explore and see what works for us, right? And you don't have to be married to anything. If you don't like a certain style, then hey. Steph says, great layout. Thank you so much. This is a really beautiful kit. This is called the Denise kit from Felicity Jane. She typically has kits left over, so if you haven't subscribed, or if you don't necessarily have to subscribe, you can buy the kit of your choice. But if you just want to check out her kits, then definitely head to the website, buy a kit, see how it works for you. Keep your pocket pages in a separate album, but we'll toss in some 6x8s into that album. That's cool. And a little adhesive from that plastic stuck to my photo, so I'm going to have to get that out in just a little bit. Off in just a little bit. Okay. So, layout number 1 done. Let's move on to the pocket page. This one, I'm going to use a bunch of stuff from my stash. I also got a Ali Edwards kit. I think it's called Stories by the Month, or the Stories by the Month. I think that's what it's called. And then I have a whole bunch of stuff from my stash. When I'm working with a pocket page, I like to use a template, and this is a template that I created years ago, and I got the idea from another YouTuber. I can't remember who it was. But it helps you plan out your pocket page just a little better. So I have some 4th of July photos, and what I've done is I've taken a piece of 12x12 cardstock, and I created just a little template based on the design A from Project Life. I can't remember what the design is, but this is a pretty popular design template. And so I just measured it out so I could have 2 4x6 photos here at the top, my 4 3x4 photos, and then 2 4x6 here at the bottom. And then what I can do is, instead of trying to slip it in pocket protectors and that type of thing, I can just go ahead and lay out my design, and then I can move things around if I want to. So here are some others. Now I went ahead and sort of laid this out already because I wasn't quite sure which photos I was going to use. I took not a ton of photos, but I printed more than what I will probably use. So my family and I headed to Edmond, Oklahoma. I have my in-laws live in Edmond. I have family that's from the Oklahoma City, Guthrie, Lawton area, if anybody's familiar with that. And they have what's called the Liberty Fest in Edmond every 4th of July to celebrate 4th of July. And so this is an event that my spouse has attended, or at least as a youngster has attended with some regularity. And so we decided to go and spend some time with our in-laws. Let's see, Steph says, lately trying to do a month in review in pocket pages. Just put them in with my other. I think that's a smart idea, Steph, because sometimes we get behind on our storytelling. I guess if that's such a thing as getting behind. But we're continually telling our stories, right? And sometimes it's great just to sit down and just do a month in review versus having to take the time to do individual layouts for various things that happened during the month. And also, too, you may not have had a whole lot of stuff going on in the month, and I've definitely recognized that. There's some months that are slower than others, and so doing that month in review is an awesome idea. Jen says, you have lots of stories by the month. I think the hobby is buying. Yeah. They're all, like, stacked up in my little collection over here. I have a whole year of them that I haven't used yet. Steph says I have a 6x8 Simple Stories album that I'm planning on put my recent vacay to Myrtle Beach. That would be fantastic. That's perfect for that, for sure. All right. Swig of water. Here we go. Last layout. So I have a bunch of stuff from my stash. I've been really focusing on using my stash. I want to buy new stuff and be very selective about what I buy, but I also want to use the things that I already have. So I pulled out some October Afternoon stickers, which I miss October Afternoon like no other. I also pulled out some LE Studio. So speaking of LE Studio, what we chatted about earlier, this is from their Noteworthy collection. It's 24 6x6 sheets. I also have some Bella Boulevard Little Bits stickers. I bought these actually in Oklahoma one year when I went to visit family, and I stopped and I did a scrapbooking class with one of my longtime subscribers who lives in that area. Let's see. I also have that Ali Edwards kit, which of course I took a lot of the elements out of it, but it comes with a stamp, and then it also comes with 3x4 cards and 4x6 cards, as well as label stickers that you can use on your projects, and I believe it's only like $13 a month. There's also, I'm missing a piece to this. There's a chipboard. She just added this in. There's a chipboard set that goes with this as well, which is really nice, and also some other little embellishment. This month we got the wood stars, which should be fun to work with. So I've got this little kit that I'm going to work with, and to that I'm adding some stuff out of my stash. I have some more LE Studio labels, which are great for pocket scrapbooking. I got some enamel stars in red because I don't have any 4th of July themed stuff other than this Ali Edwards kit, and this has some of course it mentions 4th of July, but in general it's talking about telling your stories in the month of July. So I'm going to go ahead and use it. So I picked out things that were representative of 4th of July, or celebrating that time of year with the red, white, and blue, and whatever, it's summertime. So these Teresa Collins signature enamel pieces I pulled out mainly because of the red stars. I also have some more Noteworthy stuff from LE Studio and some more bits from LE Studio. I pulled from Bella Boulevard these blue stars, which I thought would work. I also pulled some hearts. I might use that, as well as some old Freckled Fawn materials, and then something from Hit Kit Club. I was particularly looking at these stars here. I might use that in some way. And then I have some tiny everyday label stickers from LE Studio. So lots of selection from my stash that I can work with. I love the idea of picking elements that not only I like, but I can get a lot of usage out of for the different projects that I like to work on every month. So I'm going to kind of get these spread out a little bit here so I can see what I'm working with. Okay, so I'm going to set page number 2 aside because when I work on pocket layouts, I like to just focus on one side at a time. This is actually going to be a double page, so this is going to be the front, the other one's going to be the back. Here we go. Let's see, Kara says, that's part of why I never tried Project Life. I like the idea of documenting your weeks, but for me, my weeks are mostly just commuting to and from work, maybe doing something fun on the weekend, yeah. But usually not. Well, this weekend you're doing something fun because you're hanging out with me. Woo! Mara says, it's pretty much me. I do make a few pocket pages, but they are not usually recording Project Life type memories. Yeah. I do love the way this is looking. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love Ali Edwards kits because they speak a lot to my design aesthetic, which tends to be editorial a lot of times. And her designs are so focused on the story, and it reminds me to stay focused on the story, which is why I love scrapbooking. So the way I approach pocket scrapbooking is this. I may or may not plan the photos in advance in terms of having a 4x6 photo or 3x3 photos or whatnot. Sometimes I just print out the photos. Uh-oh, we're offline. Let's see. What happened? There we go. Back online. Okay. So I go ahead, I print out the photos, and then I figure out where I'm going to position the photos on my pocket spread. So for this one, I knew, and typically whenever I do pocket layouts, is the first pocket is going to be a 4x6 journaling card or some kind of card with some kind of design on it to introduce the page. The second thing on the layout is typically going to be a photo that represents the topic of the particular layout. So this one, since it's about the 4th of July parade that we went to, I have a photo here of some folks carrying the Liberty Fest banner, so the Liberty Fest parade banner. And so I wanted to make sure that I took that picture mainly so it can remind me of what this event was about. And also I thought it'd be a good lead-in for this story. Then I have my 3x4 photos. These two are of my daughter. And then I have a family pic that I try to take, but everyone was interested in other things. And then here's a pic of me and my spouse and my daughter. This parade was heavily focused on floats by the military and law enforcement and that type of thing, which is great. But I was kind of wanting to see like bands, more performance type stuff. So I kept the photos at a minimum to what I thought were important things to sort of document and remember of that particular day. I also come in after I place my photos where I want them to be. Now, my 3x4 photos I did resize using my PicFrame app phone. The other ones I just printed 4x6. Typically, I'm going to work with 4x6 horizontal photos for Pocket Scrapbook pages. This is my preferred design that I like to work with Pocket Scrapbooking, mainly because I already know what the design is, I know the feel of it, and I can just pop in what I want and it's good to go. Once I have my photos laid out, then I'm going to come in and put in my pocket cards. And because I don't like to waste a lot of time, not waste, that's not the word, because I don't want to spend a lot of time figuring out design elements for each pocket, I tend to use pockets that are already embellished in some way or have some type of design on it. So this one, I don't have to do a whole lot for it unless I wanted to put maybe a little label sticker or something here. Also, I want to make sure that I have a card here where I can journal, and then a card that I can decorate. So this one I definitely want to journal on. It says, yes, here's the story. And because I'm not good with straight, I'm going to go ahead and have an eye for straight. I'm going to go ahead and take my ruler, and I'm going to draw some journaling lines on this pocket card. So I'm going to grab one of my Micron pens. I think I'm going to do the 0.2. I'm going to move this out the way slightly. And I'm going to come in and draw some journaling lines. And from this point, I'm going to work with each card individually as if they're their own scrapbook page. So, don't have to do much with this card. I'm just going to come in and add a few lines here. And I think it helps the journaling stand out. Some folks are able to journal and write in a straight line. I'm not able to do that. And I think I also write better when I have lines, too. My penmanship is better. In this journaling, I'm just going to talk about how we went to see my in-laws for 4th of July holiday, attended the Liberty Fest, probably put a little bit about the fact that my in-laws have been attending this parade for multiple years, and it is sort of a staple in the community, this particular event. So there's nothing else that I need to do to this card, I don't think. I'm going to bring this over. Now I have a nice place where I can journal. I'm also going to start looking at my embellishments here to see if there's anything else. And I don't think that there is that I want to put on that particular card. Alrighty. Next up, I want to focus on this card, and then I'm also going to look at embellishing the individual photos as well. And that's what, that's where the stickers and the die cuts and the labels and all those things come in. So I like this circle element, and it says, take it easy. I also like the circle element that says, enjoy life. So I'm going to actually pull these out. I love, if you haven't used any Ali Edwards products before, they're fantastic. I've been shopping Ali Edwards for many, many years. So I thought about putting this here, or right here, just to embellish that a little bit. And then because this is a 4th of July spread, I may come in and add some stars to that. I'm just playing out the circles and then adding another shape. These have adhesive on them, so I'm going to go ahead and commit to this. There we go. And then add in some of these fun little stars. And I'm just working with a design that I already have. And I don't have to overthink it, right? Let's see. Okay, so that'll work there. Now I want to look at some opportunities for photos. So I think I'm going to take this one here, this little chipboard sticker, and put it right. There's a lot of white space there. So I thought about putting it here. And I like the idea of repeating that yellow somewhere else on the layout. And I think I'll do that. I'm not going to overthink it. I think I'll do that. Pocket scrapbooking allows you to keep things super simple. They don't have to be complicated. I'm just going to stick that right here. And this is pretty heavy duty adhesive, so once it's down, it is down, my friends. It is down. Okay. Next up, I want to add a little something here. So here's these labels from LA Studio, and all I'm going to do is just cut these apart. These are called little snippets. And it says date and notes. Oops. So we'll see how this works on here. Here we go. Now, if you do pocket scrapbooking, oops, that might be a little bit too big. All right, we're going to nix that. If you do pocket scrapbooking, do you have a specific brand of product that you like to use? I've been looking at Studio Calico. They've come out with a lot. I think they have like a documenter kit. I think that's them. And then there's a couple others that I've been looking at recently. Citrus Twist. All make wonderful pocket and traveler's notebook options. I'm going to take this label set, some more of these little cut aparts. This is from the Noteworthy from LA Studio. And I want to put this right here. I want to add just a little bit of blue. And in the Ali Edwards little kit here are these phrase stickers. So I think I'm going to put the word celebrate right here and adhere that on to the layout. Okay, and maybe take one of these little red stars, pop that there. Very simple, doesn't have to be overly complicated, right? Okay, so far so good. I love the way this is looking. I think what I'll do for this card, I'm wondering if I should maybe do a little star here, maybe one here. So it's an opportunity for me to use up some of these things. Okay, so we'll see how that feels. That looks a little bit more festive. All right, so now what I want to do, as I'm kind of going through and I'm embellishing and doing the thing, what I want to do is decide, is there anything else that I want to add to my pocket page? And typically, again, I don't like to over-embellish, but I do enjoy having some elements on there that make the pictures and the story kind of pop out a little bit more. I'm going to add another little star there. And I'm going to look at some stamp options here. And I'm okay to stamp directly on my photos if I feel like it. There's nothing here on this stamp set that I think I want to put on there. So I'm going to look at my label options again. And I'm thinking about doing something with a circle label. and putting it right here. There's a little bit of white space. I'm going to trim that out. There we go. Save that for something else. Then I'm going to bring over these Ali Edwards labels again. Let's see if there's something on here that says family, maybe? Trying to see. What else? I think I'm going to do this little label sticker that says 4th of July. That way I don't have to worry about the, stamping the date specifically, because this was 4th of July. Okay. Here we go. Now, if you have typed a comment or a question, then there is a slight delay. So if you don't see me responding to you, don't worry about it. It will eventually pop up. Okay, and I feel like there's something that needs to go here. So let me look and see. Thought about putting another one of these. Like put this here. Or maybe put this over here. Yeah, I like that there. Why not? Using the stuff. We don't want to hoard it. We want to use it, right? Absolutely. There we go. There's that. Almost done with this page. Goes by pretty quickly, right? Let me make sure I'm watching the time here. Cool. And let's look at these die cuts, shall we? Again, this is from the Noteworthy collection by Ellie's. And I'm trying to see what I have here. I've used quite a bit of this. I like this We Are Family. Okay. I'm going to trim this just slightly. There we go. Maybe stick this here. Why not? Why not? I'm going to put this right here. There we go. Okay, so the first page of my pocket layout is done. And I think that adding in the stars, which are red and blue, and then some of the other elements, I can definitely look at this and say, hey, this looks like a 4th of July layout, or at least the story is speaking to that, of course, without it having to be a typical 4th of July embellishments. And there's, of course, those products definitely on the market, but I didn't have any of those. So I used what I had in order to work on this page. So this is page number 1. And what I'm going to do is bring over page number 2. I'm going to do the exact same thing for page number 2. So let me get that going. Okay, move this out the way. There we go. Same thing, I have my template going and my photos all positioned. And then I can just decide how I want to embellish. Now, I don't always put things on my photos. Sometimes I just like to leave the photos the way they are. But if there's lots of white space, if there's opportunity for me to do something on a photo, then I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so I want to use this card here for journaling. I don't have a ton of journaling for this one, right? Just mainly photo focused for the most part. I'm going to take my trusty ruler and my micron pen, and I'm going to go ahead and draw some journaling lines. Here we go. And make sure that I have that straight. Okay, those may not be completely even. That's okay. That's all right. We'll make it work. And Just a few more. This is kind of a funny colored card. It's more of a cream color block. Pretty interesting. I'm going to jazz it up just a little bit. Okay, so there's that. You make me want to do more pocket pages. Love it. Thank you so much. You just keep it simple, right? It doesn't have to be complicated. Let's see. I kind of like the idea of putting like a little banner or something here, but I don't want that pink one. Nope, don't want that either. Let's see. Okay, I may not have an option there. That's okay. Let's see what the stars tell us. Okay, how about we put one here, and then a tiny one here, then a medium-sized one here. That should jazz that up just a teeny tiny bit. Okay, so now, again, using stuff from my stash. It doesn't have to be complicated, right? I'm going to come back to this chipboard. Looks like I'm using it up, and I need to use up these Ali Edwards kits that I have. Deborah, hi. Hi, I'm so freaking late. You are okay. We got started a little bit late because of technical issues. You are okay. You're right on time. Let's see here. I have, as I was saying, lots of these Ali Edwards kits. And I have probably about a year and a half of them that I haven't used because it's this. I don't know why I haven't used them. But I definitely need to put them to good use. And it has just the right amount of product to do what I need it to do. All right, so I want to put something here. I thought about putting this Take It Easy sticker there, or maybe not. Maybe I do something else. Let's see. Let's look at the Freckle Fawn options here. I'm not seeing anything that I like there. That's okay. Moving on. I kind of like these little yellow stars. This is from Hip Kit Club from 2018. And this is a kind of a washi material. Yeah, they're washi stickers. And they're super hard to get off. I think in production, they weren't cut. They were like kiss cut maybe. And they're hard to get off. So I'm thinking about using this band of stars to accent at least part of this card here, but I'm having a hard time getting it off because the cut's not that deep. Here we go. There we go. So I thought about putting a row like this. And then I can trim off the excess like this. And that adds just a tiny bit of embellishing there, not a ton. Because again, I'm keeping this super simple. And I have still tons more to play with on this particular set. So I'm going to stick these or keep these out just in case I want to come back to them. Then, let's see here. I have this little list that says 1, 2, 3. Let's see what I can do with that. That adds me another space for journaling. And I can add this directly to my photo. Nothing wrong with adding stuff to your photo. Because you know what? If you don't like it, you can always just reprint it. It's my motto. You can always reprint it. Let's see. And I thought about doing something like that. And then, let's see. I don't know what else I'd put with that, though. Let me stick that to the side. There's also this sticker that says 4th of July. So I might put that there. or this one here. I kind of like that there. Why not? Again, not overthinking it, right? Just making it do what it do. Here's that there. Is that gonna be okay? I think I saved it. I thought it was gonna be a little bit crooked. Sometimes things end up crooked in my world. Okay, let's see. I also have these Freckle Fawn label stickers, and I think I might use, let's see. Oh, it's already cut on the side. I might use this one here. This is a very, very thick sticker. I'm going to put it right down here. I'm going to trim off the excess. There we go. And that gives me an anchor to put something else there, which this is a color guard unit that was coming up. I believe this was maybe Army or Marines. I can't tell in the photo. But I want to put remembering a little chipboard sticker here, just as a reminder to remember why it is that we celebrate 4th of July here in the States. I'm going to layer that right on top of that label there. Hey, Lindsay, glad you made it. Hello, hello. Let's see here. There we go. If you're just popping in with us, say hello so we can know you're here. Alrighty. And then I think I'm going to put a red star there and a little red star here. There's that. Awesome. I like this little chipboard sticker that says, let's just hang out and do nothing. Our 4th of July was pretty chill. We didn't do a ton of things other than go to the parade. And we had breakfast with friends and then attended the parade. But other than that, we pretty much hung out. So I'm going to put this here and try to get it as straight as I can. I'm not very good at that. There we go. Still trying to decide what I'm going to do up here. All right, so far, so good. Creating a 4th of July pocket spread with using things that, using very minimal 4th of July embellishments and kind of making it up as I go along. Okay, so I want to go back to this sheet of labels again because I'm thinking I want to use this label to do something over here. I'm thinking. Methinks. Yeah. Because at first I was going to do something else, but I changed my mind. Okay, so I'm going to put this label not so straight on the photo. Ay. I'm really bad at that. I'm going to trim that off. And then figure out what embellishment that I want to go there. Now, as you can see, I keep my approach to pocket scrapbooking very, very simple, right? I don't want to overthink it. I don't want to make it more complicated than what it is. Okay, now off camera here, I have a stack of embellishments that's sort of creeping up on me, so I'm going to straighten this up for just a quick second. All right, so here we go. Uh-oh. There's that. Do I have any die cuts here that I want to use? Which one? This is awesome. I don't want to put that there. Okay, so maybe not out of this one. I basically picked out this particular die cut set because, mainly because it had the colors that I was looking for this project, but it's okay. I do like that little heart. Oh no, I don't want that there. Alrighty, so I'm going to stick these right back in here so I don't lose them. Well, that might be something I can use. I'll keep that out. We'll see. You just never know. I'm very proud of myself for using a lot of these embellishments that I pulled out. There's nothing like using up your stuff, for sure. in my opinion. Do you have currently something in your stash that you're hoarding that you know you need to use up? Go ahead and post that in the comments. I have a lot of stuff in my stash that I need to use up for sure. I like that you're not afraid to work on top of your photos. I am not. No, because my motto is, unless you are using an original photo, you can always reprint it and start all over again. Typically. Typically. Just slap it on there and keep it moving. Oh, I forgot my wood veneer stars. See, we have so many goodies to play with, guys, right? So many goodies. Oh, I'm not going to put that back in there just yet. Okay, so I was straightening up a little bit because, you know, I'm type A. I still haven't used this stamp yet. Oh, man. Well, you know what? It may not get used. It might not get used. That's okay. Maybe I'll use it for something else. No worries. Okay, so I do have the little wood veneer stars. Let's see here. I am trying to open this. Come on, Victoria, you can do it. All right, let's see what we got here. I think a part of the process in terms of creating is just put the stuff down and see how it feels to you. Right? Not even overthinking it, just letting it be what it is. Lots of stars on this one for sure. Because you got to allow yourself to play and learn and mess up and explore, repeat multiple times. And I think that had I not allowed myself to do this, to explore and play and to mess up, then I don't think I would be where I'm at in my scrapbooking journey or my creative journey, not just with scrapbooking, but with other things as well. I'm auditioning this wood veneer star there, which I think will go just fine. I want to put a star here too, in some way. I don't need it to be too bulky though, because it's going in a pocket, clearly. There's some people here that I don't know, so we can just put over their heads. There we go. Okay. If you haven't noticed, I've used a lot of stars here, and sometimes what I like to do when I don't have particular embellishments, like I don't have any direct 4th of July type embellishments, I'm trying to use the same theme over. It also limits the amount of product that I use or that I bring out to use so I don't feel overwhelmed. Lindsay says, I'm working my way through lots of chipboard. I can't resist buying it, but I purchase it way more than I use it. I am with you. I love chipboard. Deborah says, honestly, stamps and dies are just laying around getting dust. I don't know why either. Laziness is my best guess. It's hard. It's hard. And you know what? We have options. I think for the average scrapbooker, we have so many options and what we can use. And there's certainly not a shortage of things on the market. So I definitely feel you on that for sure. I have started to keep my most used items or items that I want to make sure that I use on a frequent basis right here by my craft desk. So a lot of my tools and stuff are right here behind me so that when I need it, I can reach for it and use it and not sit back months later and go, oh my God, I didn't use this item because I was too lazy to go over to the other side of my craft space or to pull something out of a bin in order to use it. And of course that varies depending on how much space you have. It was difficult for me to do that when I had a little bit of space. Now I have a whole room dedicated to what I do, crafting, clearly. So I try to keep stuff as close by me as I possibly can. I haven't perfected my system yet, but I'm getting there. Okay, what I'm looking for now is, I know I have some glitter pins. Aha, I think this is the one that I want. And I like adding a little bit of shimmer to my layouts, and I don't know why I didn't think about this with the other one, but of course I didn't use wood veneer on the initial page, but that's okay. I'm using it now. So I'm going to jazz up the wood veneer a little bit. So I have this Nuvo glitter markers. Have you guys heard of the Nuvo glitter markers or any Nuvo products? This is from Tonic. I used to be on their design team. Love their products. I was a customer long before I was on the design team, and their products are just superb. And so they have these glitter pins that are just super pretty. And you don't have to have a whole bunch of little glitter tubes hanging out. So I'm going to grab this glitter pin. This is what it looks like. Usually when you buy a pack, you get a pack of 3 coordinating colors. This one's called Ember Glow. And I'm hoping this particular color here is red enough for me to use, or at least for what I want to use it for. It's called Blushing Carmine. And when you get it, all you have to do is just press it down to express the product, and it'll come out. Ooh, that's pretty. And you get this gorgeous color with the shimmer on it. And so you can color wood veneer, color chipboard, you can accent cards or whatever it is that you want to accent using these markers. And I like painting with these markers, so this is really fun. Mara says, I just got a set of 3 Ember Glow, but haven't tried them out yet. Well, girl, you better bust them out and let's get going. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my wood veneer piece, very simple, and I'm just going to color it. And it's going to leave me with a beautiful sparkle and shine. I can do all of it or half of it. I'm just going to go ahead and do all of it because why not? And now I have a little bit of a sparkle element on my page. And I don't know how well that's picking up here on the live stream, but I'll make sure to post a picture. You guys will have access to pictures of these layouts that I complete today. So I'm going to stick that right here, and I love the way that that looks. It looks so pretty. I thought that I had a blue one. Let me look in my stashy stash. I was sent a lot of stuff when I was on their design team, so hold on just a second. Now you see why I keep my stuff behind me, because otherwise I wouldn't use it. Let me see, do I have a blue one? I may not have a blue one. I may only have that one. I thought I had a blue one. Let's see. That is not it. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. I might be thinking of something else. Let me see. Check one more spot. Nope. Close that gently because that'll squeak. And no. Okay. This is why I keep my stuff right by me, so I can just turn around and just use it. Okay, so that's all right. I'm going to use this glitter marker on the other wood veneer. Again, just coloring it. Very simple. So if you like to add a little bit of sparkle and you also want a little bit of color, these are the way to go. If you want to try them out, I'll provide a link for you guys to try those out. Very pretty. It's hard to see it on the live stream, but it's super, super pretty. I'm going to color this last one. Great way to personalize the items that you have. Someone, let's see, who mentioned earlier, or was it somebody I was talking to not too long ago, but they were saying that they had an overabundance of wood veneer and cork pieces and all that. These type of products, like these markers, are perfect for those embellishments because, you know, they're raw and then you can take them and you can color over them. And with these type of markers, they're highly pigmented, great, great product, lots of sparkle and shine. And you can add a lot of detail and get some use out of those wood veneer pieces or whatever else that you have extra. So, Tonic Nouveau, glitter markers, fantastic. This is called Ember Glow. They have other colors. It's a great deal because you get 3 markers in one pack. So if you're looking for something like this, then I definitely recommend that you check it out. The other colors in here are, let's see, did they say what colors these are? No, not on the package. Here, I'll just show you while I have them out. So this one is the Blushing Carmine. This one is called Gold Orchard, something like that. Really pretty. It has more of a yellow hue to it. It's gorgeous. And then this one is called Crushed Papaya. So, very pretty colors. And they have a little sparkle to them as well. And you can color on pretty much anything. Cork, vellum, wood veneer, that type of thing. Pretty, pretty. All right, so I'm going to set my markers to the side. I've done my little Tonic PSA for the day. By the way, I am an affiliate for Tonic, so I'll provide you with an affiliate link. It's absolutely free for you to use, but I do get a little bit of commission from that. So feel free to use it. I love their products. I swear by it. I only am affiliate for products that I love and trust from companies that are reputable. And they're a Victoria Marie retreat sponsor this year as well. So if you've attended a Victoria Marie retreat, then you got some of these. I think they gave some of these markers for the retreat. Oh, there's some other products too that they gave away. Super generous. I'm going to go ahead and add some adhesive to the wood veneer and get those put on. I also have this little label, this little banner. I'm going to stick that right here on my photo because remember, we're not scared to do that. We're just going to do that right like that. And then this last little wood veneer piece. I would have loved to have a blue one, but that's okay. I'm going to stick that on there. Okay. So now I'm thinking I want to add just a little bit more detail, not a whole lot. I want to add some type of label here. And I think there's a little label here that says Little Moments. I'm going to stick that there. And I have these other little labels. Let's see. This is from Ellie's Studio as well. They're called Tiny Everyday Label Stickers. And I might want to put one here on this photo of my kiddo. That like that. There we go. And then the one of my mother-in-law and my daughter. I think I might put one that says enjoying. There we go. And my daughter is super close with her grandparents. And so anytime I have an opportunity to scrapbook photos or take photos of them together, then I definitely do. They love hanging out with each other. Okay, so I want to add, I have some Ellie Studio Puffy Heart stickers that I want to use real quick. I'm going to scooch this up just in case you guys can't see that. And there's this little blue heart. I'm going to stick right there on that photo. Then, well, I thought I had a tiny yellow one, but I guess I don't. Maybe a little heart there. And a little star. Okay, so now that that's done, I'm going to pull it over. Of course, that's the back side of my pocket spread. Ooh, let me pull the first one over here. Let's see what we got. Not bad for a double-sided pocket page. Oh, I can't move my chair. Got stuck. Double-sided pocket page. 4th of July, using a lot of items that were not 4th of July themed, but I think that this turned out to be an okay pocket page that definitely speaks to the theme, which of course is celebrating the 4th of July here in the States. Okay, so here we go. Trying to get these all situated. Now, at this point, once I have everything in place, then I'm going to take sort of a global view of my pocket layouts. And again, as I mentioned, I like to keep them simple, but this also gives me an opportunity to look to see if there's anything else that I want to add to the spread. And I think that this is good. I think I have successfully documented 4th of July 2019. Steph says, Tanya has a warehouse about 30 minutes from me here in California. September, I'm going with a group for a field trip and special shopping. That sounds like fun. That sounds like a lot of fun. I would love to go and raid the Tonic Studios headquarters in California. That is fantastic. Have a lot of fun with that. That sounds like so much fun. Okay. So that's it. That is it for that layout. This was, let's see, scheduled to 5. I thought that these layouts would take me a lot longer than what they have. So, if you have any questions for me about design, any of the layouts that I did today, go ahead, pop those in the comment section. I'm going to go ahead and get a pocket page out of here and start slipping these in. And then I think there might be one other thing I want to do, since we have a little bit more time left in the live stream. Let's see. Let me go ahead and get this out. So if you have any questions for me, any comments, go ahead and post them in the comment section. I am using, not that one. The pocket page protectors that I'm using are the Becky Higgins Project Life. I know that they sell still a lot of product for Project Life. I haven't seen her post a lot of stuff on Instagram or anything about Project Life stuff lately. I know there's a lot of digital things that are going on. But anyway, I usually will get these at Michael's, and I haven't seen a whole bunch of her stuff at Michael's, so I'm not quite sure what's going on. I know you can definitely order it online. So if you're looking for page protectors, then definitely go online. And whether it's from the Becky Higgins website, you can shop her website, Amazon, there's a few other places where they carry the pocket page protectors. So that's what I use. So now I am going to find the pocket that I need for my layout. Now, the one that I have has different orientations of the pockets. I tend to go for this style here. I want to say it's style A, but I don't know. I don't know the label. I don't know the label. Oops. Let's see here. Do I have one? Aha! There we go. It is design A. I was correct. It is design A. Okay, so now I have my page protector. Once I'm done with my pocket layouts, and I'll go ahead and slip them in. And there we go. And depending on the size of the photo and the size of the cards, they may vary a little bit, so you might have to trim them up. That sometimes is a little annoying, but, you know, I work with it. Let's see. And I will go in and fill in the journaling later. Slip that right in there. Another thing that I like to be mindful of when I'm doing pocket pages is I don't want to use elements that are too bulky because I don't want my photos to fall out. Particularly the photos that, oh, here's one that needs to be trimmed, that go here at the top because I don't want them to fall out the page protector. If someone should, you know, turn the album upside down or something like that. I'm going to trim this one just a little bit. I'm using my Tonic guillotine trimmer, which I swear by. Which, by the way, fun fact, you can cut your finger with this because I did it last night. I cut my finger twice on my my cutters. So this one and my other one. So stay safe out there, my friends. Scrapbooking can be dangerous. Alrighty. So there's that. I'm going to flip it over. Easy peasy pocket page. And this is going to go into a 12 by 12 album amongst the rest of my layouts. 12 by 12 layouts. So whoopsies. Let's go ahead and get that. Adhere it down. Again, there might be something else I want to put there as I'm kind of finishing this out. All right, folks, if you have any questions about anything that I've done so far, please make sure you post them in the comment section. Let's see. Another one of these Ali Edwards stamps. I'm trying to see what will work for this. I think I'm going to put today's story. Just put that right here. Do I like that? I feel something needs to go there. That'll work. Not overthinking it. I'm going to stick this down. And then put these in. Again, I'll come back and do the journaling later. Oh, that photo is printed just a little bit bigger. I'll go ahead and trim this. Making sure I don't cut off my finger like I almost did last night. As I was preparing for this live stream and preparing for other things. Oh, I'm going to have to chop that just a tiny bit more. Here we go. Let's try this again. As I'm thinking about pocket scrapbooking, does anybody own a Fuse tool? And if you do you use it? And do you create your own unique pocket pages? Post that in the comment section. I have a Fuse tool. I use it every now and then. I thought I was going to use it to make these fantastic, great, awesome scrapbook pages, and then I never did. I use it every once in a while when I need it. Okay, here's that. All right, there we go. So, pocket page complete, 2 pages, 4th of July. Uh-oh, I have a little star that popped off. Let's put him right back on. There we go. Okay. I like how this turned out. This is not bad for not having a whole bunch of 4th of July supplies. I think if anything, this shows that you can basically put any layout together using what you have. You just have to be a little bit creative with what you've got. Find some running themes in your stash. Find some things that'll work, and go for it. So there we go. Here's the front part of that pocket page. Might be a little bit glary because of the plastic pockets. And then here's the other part of that page. So 4th of July is done and in the books. It is scrapbooked, and I am good to go. Alyssa says, mine is still in the packaging. I bought it so I could include things like theater programs and other memorabilia, but haven't done it yet. Yeah, I feel you on that. I feel you. I think of the things that, the materials and the supplies that we haven't used, maybe designating a weekend where, you break something out like a Fuse tool or whatever tool you haven't used, or maybe it's a die cutting machine or something like that. I know there's people who say, oh, I still have my die cutting machine in the box. I haven't pulled it out yet. Taking some time to actually pull those things out and use them, give them some use, because that's really important. So we spend a lot of money on our supplies not to use them. And the only way we're going to get proficient at using them is if we actually go through the struggle of learning how to use the stuff, right? Make those memorabilia pockets, Alyssa. Oh, that's something you can bring to the fall retreat, by the way. Just saying. FYI. Alyssa attends my retreats every year in Texas. Okay, so that's done. I think that I might finish out this live stream by doing a, let's see, what do I have at my disposal here? I'm going to set this to the side. So far, so good. Got 2 good layouts going. I think I might, let me look at my July photos. I was thinking about doing a pocket page of some sort. Not a pocket page, a traveler's notebook. Okay, will do. And I want to see it too, Alyssa. That's your homework. I want you to use your Fuse tool. That is your homework. As I'm going through my photos trying to decide what I want to do last, I think I'm going to do a traveler's notebook spread. Does anybody do traveler's notebooks? If you do, post in the comments section. This is something, a style of scrapbooking, or I guess it wasn't originally a style of scrapbook. Well, maybe, because it's documenting. The original intent of traveler's notebooks is to document your travels. So it is scrapbooking in some form, but I think, as we know, as of modern scrapbooking today, has definitely adopted traveler's notebook. So anywhoosie, all to say that I think I'm going to do a quick traveler's notebook spread. So if you do traveler's notebooks, go ahead and post in the comment section. This is something that I've been experimenting with as a way of documenting just random stories, or something that is themed, maybe a summer traveler's notebook or whatnot. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Alrighty. So I'm going to pull out this photo. I've been really good at printing my photos in the month and scrapbooking them, so that's great. Nothing complicated, just stick them in an envelope real quick and sit it on my desk. So these are 2 3x4 photos of my daughter and I, and when we went home, or went to Oklahoma for 4th of July, I took her to where I went to elementary school and middle school. We lived in Del City, Oklahoma by Tinker Air Force Base. My father at one point was stationed there and worked there. My mother also worked on Tinker as a civilian. And we went back and I showed her where I went to elementary school, where I went to junior high, where I was going to go to high school, but we ended up moving to San Diego. My mom had gotten remarried at the time. And sadly, the schools that I went to were not kept in the best condition, and the neighborhood that I went to has definitely changed over the years. The demographics have changed. Not a lot of capital growth in the area, and it's really sad because Del City used to be a very busy, military town, and there's not a whole lot of investment that's gone into the Del City area. Del City is a suburb of Oklahoma City. So, anywho, I took her to see where I went to school, and I snapped this photo of she and I in front of the elementary school that I attended, which is called Highland Park Elementary, and I loved Highland Park. I had some of the best teachers at Highland Park. And I also snapped a few photos of the junior high that I used to go to, was Kerr Junior High. It's now called Kerr Middle School in Del City, Oklahoma, and have lots and lots of happy memories of that time. So, I think what I want to do is I have a traveler's notebook that I just like to memory dump in or just explore or play. So in the morning before I start work, it usually will serve as sort of a creative jumpstart for me. And none of the spreads in there have to make sense. They don't have to be perfect. It's just me doing my thing, playing with some product, and having fun. So what I want to do is sort of document my daughter's impression when we went. So I'm not going to use this photo, but I'm going to use just this one 3x4 photo. And I had my notebook somewhere. let me grab my notebook real quick. Hold on just a second. That would be helpful to the process. Here we go. All right. I have stuff all over the floor. Okay. So this notebook here came with a set of scrapbooking products that I used as a commissioned project, and I forget who it's by. In any event, I just added some letter stickers here that say random 2019 because this is just a place for me to put random stories. Let's see. Alyssa says, I have the traveler's notebook for the retreats. Yes, absolutely. So in my traveler's notebook, I just have random stories. And sometimes it's about me. It's a selfie. Sometimes it's about the adventures that my family and I go on. Some of it's about how I'm feeling. This was a particularly hard one. Or observances that I have of my daughter. The day that we had major tornado warnings here in the South because it's the South and that's what happens in the spring. I also played with a little bit of sewing. This was a video on our Patreon, so if you haven't checked it out, make sure that you do that. This was using some printables that I created. I'm testing out the printable world, so you guys will probably be getting a set of printables next month, a little freebie for me as I'm kind of figuring my way around. This is another spread just chilling at the pool. Again, just randomness. And what this does is it sort of wets my whistle a little bit creatively before I start other projects, or sometimes I just want to just do something and it doesn't have to be formal. So, next spread, I think I'm going to do a photo here and some embellishing or whatnot. So, I'm going to set this to the side. I typically will work apart from the actual traveler's notebook, and since I already have product out, I'm going to go ahead and use it. No rhyme or reason. This is totally organic. You're going to see this kind of come together without any plan whatsoever. I thought the other two layouts would take me a little bit longer, but they didn't. So I can get this traveler's notebook page done. This is something that I want to do. Now I'm going to use this 6x6, mainly because it's here, obviously. And I get a lot of questions about using 6x6 paper pads, and using them on a traveler's notebook page is a very good idea. So I'm going through and I'm picking out some papers that I think will work, and I'm kind of leaning towards the polka dot, this yellow stripe, and this blue grid. There's some purple. I don't particularly like that design all that much. It makes me dizzy. Floral, nah. Red polka dot. Ooh, that looks so pretty with that blue. I might keep that there. I don't need a whole bunch. I'm just kind of going through and seeing what I have. And also too, ooh, there we go. This also allows me to use up my 6x6 paper pads as well. I love that yellow polka dot. Okay. Very simple. So what I'm going to do next, once I have that all figured out, is I'm going to create a base for my notebook spread. And just like with my 12x12s or 8.5x11, I typically will scrapbook pretty simple, similar style as I do with regular pages. So I know that using one part of the page, or at least 2/3 of the page, is not going to leave me a whole lot of paper left over. So I think what I want to do is just kind of split the page in two, so I have a different pattern paper on each side. I like the idea of the yellow. Ooh, and I love the idea of this stripe. That looks like a lot of fun. But I also like the polka dot too. All right, let's see what we get here. So I'm just going to do a little tick mark here. I'm not good at measurements. I'm just not. So I'm going to draw myself some cutting lines here, and hopefully this will come together real super quick without even having to think about it. So I'm going to trim that up, being careful not to slice my fingers off. They have a warning for children on these things. They need to have a warning for me. I kid you not. Okay, so here's that. And I think what I'll do, I don't know, I'm kind of feeling a little creative with this. Ooh, maybe I'll do some color blocking. There we go. So this is going to go here. I'm going to do a little tick mark. Okay. Another reason why I like doing Traveler's Notebook spreads is they come together really quickly. You don't have to overthink it. I like the way that looks. That's pretty. Okay. So there's that part. Let's do the polka dot. I'm going to use this as a guide because I don't measure. There we go. And let's cut it up. I've done Traveler's Notebook spreads on and off for the past year, and I've really embraced it recently as a way for me to kind of take some creative risks and play with different designs and so forth. That's not the one that I want. This is the one that I want. Here we go. Last one, cutting it up. Not for me, I overthink everything. Oh boy. Sometimes we do, right? Sometimes we do. We overthink stuff. Then I always have to stop and tell myself, when your family's looking at your scrapbook pages, they're not going to notice any of the stuff that we, bothered ourselves with, the inertia of the design. I'm just happy if my family actually reads the journaling that I write on my layouts. This design part is for me. The stories are for them. All right, so now that I got my papers all cut out, I'm going to go ahead and get this adhered to my notebook. There we go. Now sometimes if this is a whole sheet, and I think this notebook measures 8x4, then I'll go ahead and cut out my papers, do all my embellishing, add my photos and that type of thing, and then add the pages into the notebook. Like this page here is an example of that, where I went ahead and pre-cut the page, and then I did all the embellishing and stuff, and then added it straight to the notebook. All right. There's a lady at my Sacramento retreat who consolidated all of her 12 by 12 scrapbook albums and turned them all into Traveler's Notebook albums because she says that she's single, doesn't have any kids, and doesn't have anybody that she would pass this on to other than maybe some nieces and nephews, and she wanted to not burden whoever receives her scrapbooks down the road. And she likes the fact that the Traveler's Notebook format is so easy to do. And so she's converting all of her 12 by 12 albums. I think when I spoke with her in April, she was really well into this project. And she had about 7 notebooks that she had brought where she was converting. And she tried to keep the elements intact as much as she could, and then just convert those over to the Traveler's Notebook format. And some she wasn't able to. I mean, there's some stuff we stick on our page. We're not able to pull it up and reuse it. But where she could reuse it, she did reuse it. I just thought that was a pretty fascinating way of managing her albums, is by converting them to something that she felt was more manageable and more useful. All right, little color blocking there. Why not? Jen says, I've come to the conclusion that I don't do it for them, I do it for me. I have a voice, so. Well, you know what? He might want them. You never know. You never know. Okay, let's go ahead and do, let's back the photo with some white cardstock so I can have the white borders. Jen, I kind of agree with you there. I would love for my daughter, I only have one. She's really, really interested in the scrapbooks right now. I would love for her to keep them, but I've also told her that my scrapbooks are not her burden. So when that time comes, she can do with them what she wants. But they're hers to keep if she wants. If not, she can do with whatever with them. I'm also probably starting next year going to be getting into the habit of taking pictures of my layouts or taking pictures of my album and saving them digitally. So if, whoever ends up with them, my daughter or someone else doesn't want them, at least they have access to the digital copies of them if they don't want all of the books. So again, I do this for my enjoyment. Okay, so I think I'm trying to decide what page I want my photo on. Now, sometimes I'll just do like a one-sided page. Like I just have this one photo. But again, this is for me to play and explore. There's no rules for me whenever I'm doing this. Okay, so I think what I want to do, for some reason I'm filling it over here. I'm going to adhere it to this side. Not overthinking it, right? There we go. And, because I'm me, I need to have a tab. I need it in my life, y'all. Okay, so here we go. Do I want it out of this paper? I love this tab touch. I use it like every day. Oh man, either I'm going to have to get a new one or I'm going to have to get something to keep it from sticking, because it's starting to do that. I love We Are Memory Keepers punches, but sometimes they stick. Okay. Let's see. That looks good. I'm also going to reach behind me because I have some really handy stamp sets from Felicity Jane that have just some simple sentiments on them. And sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. So I'm trying to see if there is one. It's one that says here and there. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of stamping. I'm flying by the seat of the pants. I have a TN called Awesome Eats, which holds photos and layouts of great meals I have had. I also have another one dedicated to coffee photos. Oh my God, Steph, you are a woman after my own heart. Food and coffee, baby. Food and coffee. Worthy of a scrapbook page all the time. That is a really good idea. I often scrapbook about coffee. So I'm going to actually, I'll dedicate a whole traveler's notebook to that. I think Dearly D does that as well on YouTube. She has a traveler's notebook that she devoted to coffee, or at least several spreads to it. People just need to, people who don't understand coffee obsessions, oh my God, coffee is a miracle. Okay, it really is. I love coffee so much. I'm going to go ahead and get this stamped on using this Felicity Jane stamp. I don't know if I said Ellie Studio or not earlier. It is Felicity Jane, not Ellie Studio. Okay. It's called their Essentials stamp. Essentials number 1, Essentials number 2, and this was the Essentials number 1. So I'm going to put that there. I think that this type of scrapbooking, just kind of doing the random stuff, gives us permission to not feel like we have to, whenever we're sitting down to scrapbook, that it always has to be some big story. Like, and then sometimes the scrapbooking sort of feels repetitive, like with holidays and stuff like that. Sometimes I just want to, you know, just scrapbook about a cup of coffee, an amazing cup of coffee that I had, and that doesn't necessarily need a 12 by 12 page, or does it? Because I love coffee so much. I have devoted 12 by 12 pages to my love of coffee. But the Traveler's Notebook is that, you know, it's that place where you can creatively dump and you don't have to feel bad about it, right? There's no obligation. You just pull out some materials and you have some fun. Using a lot of stuff in my stash. Let's work on a title. I don't know what I'm going to call this thing. Let's see. What should I call it? I don't know. Aha. Let me pull out. Let's see. I do have the Ellie Studio title builder. And which I should have stamped on this first before I actually put this in, but you know, c'est la vie. There's a word moments here. I'm just looking for something else that will go with that. There's so many things. Oh, by the way, if you buy the stamp set, Ellie does provide a title builder guide that gives you suggestions on titles to build using the stamp set. So make sure you check that out if you buy it. I'll post a link as well for the stamp set because it's fantastic. Let's see. There's moments. Just yours. This is, you are at the, in the, I don't know. Okay, I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to think on that. Because I only have a few minutes left. I'm going to come back to that. So where's my cutter at? Now I want to, as I'm thinking about a title, I want to think about embellishing. So I have this little 6x6 sheet. I was trying to say 6-inch sheet at the same time. And that wasn't going to come out pretty. Jen says, create moments. That's a good one. That is a good one. So on the 6x6 sheet has these labels on here. I think they'll be perfect for journaling. So I'm going to cut some of these out and use them as die cuts. This tonic cutter, it cuts like butter. It is amazing, and it is super sharp. So I'm thinking I want this blue one here. Then I can just put in little details of that particular moment. Put that here. I love the idea of sort of collaging things or creating a grid. And I'm going to cut this here. And I'm going to do the same on this side. And then, let's do a gray. I thought I had red on here, but I don't. Now the rest of these I can save for a different project. So getting a lot of usage. If you hear some laughing in the background, that's my kid. Because she's 9 and she's loud and she talks a lot. Okay. Here we go. Move those out the way. Move this guy out the way for a second. And I think what I'll do is the type A in me says to line them up like this. But I'm also thinking about doing this too. That looks good. And then I want to stamp something at the top. So I'm gonna, ran out of tape. Get some more here. Here we go. Back in business. So I'm going to tape this here. That's going to give me a spot to sort of journal some details. I don't need to do a whole lot of journaling on this particular one. I am going to do a separate pocket spread because there's more photos that go to the story, but I really like this one of me and my daughter posed outside of the elementary school that I went to. And I'm glad that I was able to show her where I went to school. Okay, next up. I think... I'm going to use this stamp here that says thoughts and put that up here. I love the title builder stamp. It's so much fun to use. There is a title builder. This is volume 3 of the stamp, so there's 2 others. Now, I think, let's see. Yeah, let's do that. I was trying to, I guess there's a mid-thought there. I thought about stamping this in a different color, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and stamp it in black. There we go. Perfect. How about some die cuts and some other things? So let's bring these over. See what we got. Just trying to... I like that to be continued. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll go through my die cuts and whatnot and see what works and what doesn't work. I kind of like that there. Or maybe here. Yeah, let's do that. Let's commit. Sometimes the decisions are made very quickly and sometimes not so much. We all know how that goes. I'm going to put a little die cut there. Still looking around to see what else I have. There's no red in this spread, but I like that little love there. I'm liking the idea of something there. I don't know if that's going to be it, but I kind of like that idea. Ooh, I like that. Okay, let's do it. Quick, fast decisions, right? Why not? If we don't like it, we can always do it over. When I remember when I first started scrapbooking, it took me 2 weeks or more to create one layout because I was overthinking the process. That was also right around the time when I started looking at scrapbooking magazines and YouTube videos, I think. No, not YouTube. That was a few years later. Magazines for sure. And I would see that everybody else was doing certain things. I'm like, well, maybe I should be doing that too. C'est la vie. Okay, so I like this tab that says to be continued because there is more to this story than just this one. So I'm going to stick that right down here. So notice I'm just grabbing embellishments and I'm just going for it. I'm starting to use up some of this stuff, so that's good. I kind of like the idea of that little circle there with the star, so I'm going to put that there. Still haven't decided on a title yet, but we'll get there. So there's that. I like that some of the highlights to go there. I like that important, but that's a little bit too much blue in that section. Okay. So I'm thinking, let's see. Ooh, I like that there. Why not? Okay, stick that there. Okay, so lots of fun with die cuts for that one. Almost done. Got 10 minutes left in the live stream. If you have any questions about anything that I've done here in this live stream, make sure that you post it. And if you're making anything, or if you're inspired to make something, post it in the Facebook group so we can see it. We would love to see what you're making. Still trying to figure out a title, and you know what? That may not be accomplished today. So we'll see. I kind of like the idea of saying like awesome moments, because this was a pretty awesome moment. To be able to take my daughter back to where I went to school. Yeah, let's do it. Let's commit. Fast decisions. Why not? I'm getting it done. Oops. Okay, let's see if I can stamp this without it being weird. Here we go. Yeah. Let's see, I get quiet like I need to be quiet to stamp. There we go. Okay, didn't ink that up too much, but it's okay. That's cool. Awesome moments. This was an awesome moment. She was so excited to see where Mommy went to school. And we did the same when my spouse lived in Edmond, Oklahoma growing up, and went to see the school that she went to and all that, and that was fun. But hadn't been around to Del City in our past trips to go visit family, so it was great to be able to take her back. Okay, and not only did we go to the schools that I attended, but we also went to the apartment complexes that my mother and I stayed in at the time before she got remarried and we moved to California. Okay, I'm trying to decide if there's anything else on here that I want to put. Just looking at the stamp builder set. Now, the cool thing about the stamp builder set is that you don't necessarily have to use all the stamps together, like build one stamp with another. You can use it with other things like die cuts and such. And I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I want to put on here. No. Okay. So I have a place for journaling, and then I have a place for the title, and I have some space for some other stuff too. So how about we do a little heart here. Love that. And then, again, just using the stuff that I already have out because it's already out. So why not? I'm going to stick a little heart there. Or maybe a little heart. No, you can go there. That's fine. And then also trying to think about using up my stuff, too. Because Lord knows we have a lot, don't we? There's that. And. Let's bring some of these things over. I'm trying to see if there's a sticker that I can put somewhere here. Maybe not. I feel there needs to be something here, but I don't know yet. I'm not going to force it, though. Because nothing's worse than trying to force something, and it's not going to work. I don't know what's going to go there. But I think this is a good start. All right, folks. I think I'm going to put an end to that. Came together really quickly. Just used the stuff that was already on my desk from that pocket layout. I'm going to pull the other two layouts over so you can see them real quick. The only thing I have to do with this Traveler's Notebook spread is to add in my journaling and maybe a little something down here. I probably have some die cuts sitting around somewhere that I can add to that. So I'm going to pull over my other layouts. So the first one that I did was of me and my best friend, and of course using a Felicity Jane Studio products. And my process, as I've shown you, I start typically with the background and the photos and then build from there. I try to work out the title. Most of the times that's the first thing I do before I embellish. Sometimes that may not always be the case, but I do. And then of course I work out all of my embellishments. For this one, I have 3 clusters of embellishments. A lot of the focus is going this way in a diagonal fashion on the layout, but I think this turned out really great. The only thing I have to do is just add the journaling to it. The next layout I completed today was a 12 by 12 double-sided pocket page spread. So those of you who are interested in pocket pages, I hope this inspired you. Again, you don't have to do some really souped up pocket page. I like pocket pages simply for documenting the story and having lots of photos. And then, of course, I pepper in embellishments to kind of make it look good, and then I move on to life. Starting with the photos, I usually lay out my photo design first, then I bring in my cards, then my embellishing, and I love the way this turned out. And this is an example of being able to create something when you don't have the materials that actually speak to the theme of the layout. So here's the front side of that, and then, of course, the back side as well. And I think this turned out really great using a combination of an Ali Edwards story kit along with items from my stash. And I think this all works well together. And the way I approach this is to find colors that I felt were representative of 4th of July and summer and themes that represent that. And so there's lots of stars throughout here because usually we associate stars with 4th of July because, you know, fireworks and all the other stuff. So that's where I went with this, staying with some primary colors and using as many of the elements as I could. But again, not overdoing it. But it still came out to be a fantastic project. And I'll go back and add the journaling later. And then lastly, I have my Traveler's Notebook spread that I made on the fly. This was something that I wanted to do anyway, so I'm glad I was able to share it with you using some LE Studio elements for this one. I'm going to go through again and add in my journaling, but I use this Traveler's Notebook as a way to just practice techniques or just to do something creatively without some large commitment to a 12 by 12 spread or 8.5 by 11 spread. So I have my 3 by 4 photo. I use the PicFrame app to resize my photos and printed that out. I will probably add something here. I don't know what that's going to be yet, but using the 6x6 paper pad to create this block of pattern paper here in the background, and then of course the cut aparts that came with the 6x6 paper pad that was on the B side of one of the patterns, or I guess it would be the A side of the pattern. This is where I'm going to add in the journaling, just some details, and then I added in just a few little dimensional elements, not a ton because I don't want my Traveler's Notebooks to be so bulky that they start falling apart. So those are the 3 projects that I made, and I hope that you enjoyed this live stream, had lots of fun with this. Thank you for your patience as we're working out the technical issues. Our next one, I will announce the date in August. In fact, there's going to be the special offer creative workshop that's going to be on August 10th, so you don't want to miss that. If you are currently a patron and you, all of you here are gold and platinum level, so you get automatic access to that anyway, then you'll be able to participate in that online workshop. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So stay tuned for more information about that. The special offer is almost over. So if you know someone who's interested, make sure they join up before the 23rd. And so yeah, here we go. We're all done with this live stream. So make sure you look out for that. Oh, and then we have a quarterly creative reconnection or quarterly creative workshop that's going to be coming at the end of the month of August, on August 30th. And we're going to have a special guest. So I'm going to be announcing that too. So lots of wonderful opportunities for you to hang out and whatnot. So if you made anything during this live stream, make sure you post it. Thanks so much for joining me, guys. I hope you have a fantastic Saturday, and I'll see you on the Patreon page. Let's see. Lovely time we had. Thanks so much, Mara. Thank you. Everyone have a fantastic weekend. Bye, Jen. Have a good one. Bye, everybody. Let's see here.